Guys, I don't know how many of you have had a chance to come up and take a close look at the Saucerian Award. But it is truly a beautiful work of art. It is hand-designed, handcrafted, and hand-built. There's not another one in the world like it. And every year we're going to make another one, and one person will get a Saucerian. Now, the idea, our designer was Larry Noble, if I didn't mention that, our good friend and supporter. Thank you. So, the Saucerian is not a best of anything award. It's just an award that is given to one special person to recognize their decades of research, seeking truth, and then their decades of disseminating those truths. Pretty simple, but also kind of really big. The winner of the 2020 Saucerian being awarded to Jordan Maxwell. Look at her. She's heavy.
Oh, wow.
This is not a dime store trophy. Here. Take a close-up gander at her.
I would like to say, take a moment to thank my host, Bob Brown, who has done so much to encourage me over the years. I've spoke at so many of his conferences, and I always seem to have some sort of an otherworld experience being with him. Things just happen around this kind of an event. And I've had so many incredibly interesting experiences. I'm not bragging, but I tell you this one, but I think it's important to understand the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say interesting experiences. I had a friend of mine that lived in Los Angeles, up in the hills, up in the canyon, and the far north of Los Angeles, up in the hills in the canyon. And he invited me to come up and spend a long weekend. And it was a 3-tier home on the mountain, and the top was a guest bedroom, a guest room. So I took the top room, and I asked my host if it would be all right if I bring a friend, a young friend who was visiting me, and bring him up with me. And he said, sure. So I have a young friend who was in Las Vegas who had come to visit me. So the two of us were staying in the top of the house, at the third bedroom. And in the middle of the night, he and I decided that we would go up on the roof and overlooking all of Los Angeles with all the lights. It's beautiful. It was a warm night. So we went up and sat on the roof, and we were sitting and chatting about UFOs and all that kind of thing. And for some reason, which I shall not ever understand why, in the middle of the conversation, I looked up in the sky and I said, Almighty God, if you can hear me, would you please let a meteor hit this mountain right here? And all of a sudden, boom, a meteor hit the mountain. It hit it so hard, all the lights went on in the canyon. People wondered, what in the world was that? I was amazed. Right where I was pointing, a meteor hit exactly there the moment I said that. And I don't know what the implications of that was. I'm just saying that's pretty strange in my book, to be able to look into the heavens and ask God to do something, and the moment you say it, he did it. I've had many experiences, and the greatest experience I've had so far is the fact of being able to speak to an audience, because I don't consider myself being very important. I consider what I do to be just a love of my work. I love secrets. I've always been interested in the dark secrets of life. And I knew that this world is filled with a lot of dark secrets. And I know that most people don't know those secrets, and that's what I want to do. I want to make people aware of all the things which are going on around us that we don't really see. And that, I would hope, would make most people appreciate life and the wonder of being alive, because we're not here alone. There are other life forms here on the earth with us, and there's so much to learn about the world we really live in. So again, that's the reason why I'm here, and why I do what I do. Just out of a love for the intrigue of realizing that we are living in a world filled with strange life forms, and we're just one of them. I believe, it's just my belief, I believe we humans were planted here a long time ago from out there. And that out there, the life that's out there is generally like us, walking on 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 arms, a head, the body. I think the life forms out there are probably like us. But being in different areas, there may be different colors or different personalities or different races and concepts among the peoples that are out there. And to bring them all here for some reason gives us all about different kinds of people, different colors, different races, different philosophies. And so if there is anything to that, it implies that we are a creation of God. And the implications of that is we're not in control of our life or why we're here. And it begins to look like we all have a destiny, some sort of a well-informed destiny by whoever allowed us to be alive at this moment today to fulfill. And I think that is happening at this moment. The destiny seems to be to educate the human race, to wake up to the reality of what life is really all about. And that's why on the bottom and on the back of the dollar bill, you'll see a pyramid with an all-seeing eye at the top and a little triangle. The pyramid represents humanity, the whole world, where we should all be building up to a pinnacle. We should all be building up in intelligence and wisdom and understanding. Keep building until you get to the top of the pyramid. And at the very top of the pyramid is a triangle with an eye, and it has a light emanating from around it. That pyramid with the eye is a symbol for the Jewish Messiah. The Messiah in Old Testament Judaism is referred to by a word in the ancient Greek, which means a triangle perched on top of a pyramid. But in the Christian tradition, in the New Testament, Jesus is referred to with the same Greek word for Messiah, which means a triangle on top of a pyramid. And that's why it's on our dollar bill. That pyramid does not represent the devil and Lucifer and evil. It represents the pinnacle for which mankind is building up higher and higher in knowledge and wisdom and understanding, so that one day we will be at the top and prepared for the pyramid, which represents the Messiah, to come down and sit on top of the pyramid, which means sitting on top of the human family, that we are all hoping to build up to that kind of wisdom at the top. So just keep that in mind. That's what the symbol means on the back of a dollar bill. The eye represents the Messiah, and we are all supposed to be working our way up to the top. And ultimately, if we hit the top, most won't, but if we do hit the top, we will begin to perceive and understand the depth of the Messiah, the one who is to come to save the world, and that's us. If we can reach that level of intelligence and wisdom. And so since understanding that, that's why I wish to try and help my fellow man to awaken to the profoundness of our life and where we're going, where we've come from. And so with all of that, I would say, I want to thank you all for the support and for the nice things that have been said about me. Appreciate it, and thank you.
Can't think of anybody that is more deserving of the first Saucerian than you, for sure. Second, it is amazing to me that some people think that you are not spiritual, that you are not godly. You are amongst the most spiritual and godly people I know, but yet people have this perception that you aren't. You are anti-religion. So am I. And that's okay. Picture this. Jordan is at the top of that mountain. He's directing down those meteorites. Standing by him is Daniel, directing down the lightning. What a sight.
Here's my question. I love you for years and years, and you're you. But what I want to know is, if we all get to become messiahs like you, do we have to wear those ugly shoes like you have on? That'll be a requirement to become a messiah. No socks. But no socks. But here's the point. All the years and all the stuff that you've created, and all the enlightenment that has inspired so many people, I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for it. And I want you to give me and Jay that trophy. Because Jay and I think we deserve it more than no.
I would just like to thank you for your wonderful lecture the other day. It was very enlightening. A lot of the stuff you said, I basically already knew, and there's a lot of things that I didn't know, and I am grateful that I was able to learn it. In fact, I wish most people that I know, colleagues and family, are mostly Christian. I really, really wish that they could have been here to listen to it. It would have been a real wake-up call for them. But regardless, I'm grateful for your lecture, and you said that you're towards the end of your life, but I think you still got work to do, and I hope you do it. I mean, you've definitely lived long and prospered, so may you continue to live long and prosper.
Thank you. It's a real joy to hear those kind of words from a young man who really appreciates. Thank you.
Jordan, I wanted to just express, when I was young, I recall hearing a statement, something to the effect of, you can tell the greatness of a man in the way that he treats a small man, or something to that effect. And it's been interesting for me to observe you in person these last couple days, and the fact that you listen to anyone that's in the hall talking with you, you listen, you make eye contact. I really have been touched by your personable demeanor and your kindness, that I think anyone that interfaces with you picks up on that beautiful example of how to treat other people. Even though you might be super controversial, they might not like what you have to say, I can take that as a great example of how to share a message, and win friends at the same time. And anyway, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kindness in your eyes and your good vibe. Thanks so much.
On behalf of myself and my partner Goja, who you've not yet met, we wanted to say congratulations on your Saucerian Award, and we also wanted to tell you that we spoke to our crew earlier this evening, and they have been watching, and they wanted to pass along their congratulations to you as well for a lifetime of service, and that the information that you have given us, they agree with, and also the same that they've given us. So they wanted to say hello and to thank you for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
I heard you speak, and you talked about communists, which to me means Russia, kind of. And I hear you're retiring or might retire, and I think about that, and I think, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about politics, but it seems like, to me, in these modern times, Donald Trump is very close to Russia. And it seems like, my question is, I guess, why wouldn't you keep in the fight if that's the thing we need to stop?
I would say that the reason why I am thinking about retiring is because it's very difficult doing what I do at my age. And at 80 years old, I have become very tired of traveling. I've traveled around the world, had the honor to be able to speak to audiences all over the world, and I've just become tired because I don't really see the result of what I'm doing on a worldwide scale. I just assume that people are hearing me, and there must be people out there who are listening, but I don't really see it myself. And I live in such a way that I don't own anything, I don't have anything, and I don't ask for anything. And it's good, you're not going to get anything. And so I have friends who have given me an opportunity to have a place to live and to have friends, to which I very much appreciate them. And the two of them are right here, Joni, which is standing right here, and her husband, Frank. Frank and Joni have a beautiful home, and they have asked me to come and live with them.
All right, I'm the lucky girl. I get to sit on the porch, watch the stars every night at 7,000 feet, and me and this man every night, 365 days a year. So I'm the lucky one. And my kids have a grandfather. We have a grandfather. It's all good.
Thank you.
So a long time ago, I got invited to a party in Bel Air, and by Richard Hoagland, and he said I was going to meet this really cool guy, right? And so I go to this party, and it's supposed to be a talk by Jordan Maxwell. Yeah. I'm really anxious to see it. But Richard Hoagland stepped in and stole the whole show, and Jordan and I went upstairs by the pool and spent 5 hours, that's how long Richard Hoagland lectured. Well, and we sat and bonded like crazy, and he never got to talk. You know, it was his party, and he never got to talk. Hoagland blew the whole thing up, and Jordan and I became really good friends, and so, you know, I thank Richard Hoagland for introducing us, and it was a great thing. Even though he totally screwed you, it was...
Finally served the purpose. Finally served the purpose.
He served the purpose.
Jordan, I think I told this story to everyone before, but when I first met you, I said to you, how did you get involved with secret societies and hidden symbolism and all these great things? And you said, well, Johnny, you know, I really have to thank my ex-wife for introducing me to religion. Yeah. Because
Before I met her, I didn't know what hell was.
Well, you know, you've been doing this for over 60 years. You were personal friends with Manly Palmer Hall. You know, you were covering these subjects before anybody else. You know, back in the days with Anthony J. Hilder, going and getting the lectures from Myron Fagan and covering the Illuminati, secret societies, hidden symbolism, conspiracies. You got an amazing show on Gaia. You rock this show tonight, and you have these great books by Booktree Publishing with Paul Tice, and your legacy is forever cemented into this genre. Thank you for all you've done, dear friend, and we honor you tonight.
Thank you.
Well, Jordan, I'm sitting at a table with a lot of people that are making fun of you all, you know, especially with the Southern accent. So I am not going to join that crowd. I am going to say that you have probably forgotten more about metaphysics than most of my colleagues know. You have been an unbelievable quality orientation to this field. You have changed the lives of many people. You inspired me in many ways. I've learned a lot from you. And I just want to make one comment that was made earlier. In the 35th century, the time travelers told me that your shoes are going to be a big hit. So I thank you very much, and I wish you into a happy retirement.
I could use it if I could use it. My dear friend, Sid Goldberg. Sid, I love you. You're a wonderful friend.
Thank you, and I was going to say the same to you. I've learned so much from Jordan about mysteries and secret societies and hidden meanings, things that we look at every single day. They don't register, but through your eyes, I've learned so much. But while you're famous for that, I would like to say that what I've learned from you is that you're someone who is all heart. And for somebody with such an expansive heart and love for everybody and a love for knowledge and a love for sharing your knowledge, I, for one, am most grateful. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Sid, your words mean a lot to me because I hold your friendship in high esteem, and thank you.
We just met today, first time. I haven't followed your work for very long, but there's a concept in the Law of One series, the teachings of Ra, and it was that one of the things they said was that it doesn't matter if they reach one person or all people, it's worth it to reach one because we're all one, we're all a piece of the Creator. And you've reached me, and it was your personal story, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, so you have clearly made a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jordan. And likewise, you're a dear friend of mine. I think, like all of us, we saw videos of you presenting the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then when we were bunkmates at a conference about 5 years ago, I had to present early in the morning, and he and I stayed up to the wee hours of the morning just talking bed to bed. It was so good. I couldn't go to sleep that night, and we really bonded that night.
Yeah.
And Jordan, you've just been such an inspiration for the work I've done, I know for my colleagues, and you will forever be remembered. So congratulations on the award tonight, and well deserved.
Thank you. I shall not forget you, my friend, and thank you again.
We get to see him here for a few days, but, you know, to have him in our house and have our kids hug him and love him.
I get to play grandpa.
Yeah. I think they're going to hurt you. You go, leave them alone. Leave them alone. They're climbing on him like a jungle gym. But this is what we get. This is what I get from bringing this guy into our home. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, thank you. I always remember who my friends are and where I live and how you have helped me. So I'm here because of friends who have helped me, and I appreciate it very much. what else should I say and what else could I say? There are so many things I'd like to tell my audience, but the things I really would like to tell, I can't tell in public. And the reason why, because I would get myself and other people, important people, in trouble if I were to tell you some of the things that I have experienced and the people I have been in the company of with, and the things that I have learned from very powerful people at the top of this world I have been in the company of and I have learned from. And it's extraordinary, so much so that I am not able to really divulge publicly because this is being recorded and I don't want this to get out. And so that's why I just thank everyone for your kindness and for the award. And I would say also that the award, when I first saw it, it reminded me of the Statue of Liberty. And how many people know that the Statue of Liberty is not a woman, it's a man? A lot of people do not know that. It's not Mother Liberty or Mother Liberty. No, it's Lady Liberty, yeah. It's Father Liberty, because it's a man in a robe of a judge. And it's a judge's robe. And according to the Knights Templars, the French Grand Orient Knights Templars of France, when they built the Statue of Liberty and sent it over here, they made everyone unaware of the fact it's not the Statue of Freedom. It's the Statue of Liberty. Liberty is what a sailor gets when he pulls into port. You ask permission to go aboard. You ask permission to go on land. And if the captain gives it to you, maybe he won't, but if he does give you liberty, you have liberty, not freedom. You have to be back at a certain time or you go to jail. And so keep it in mind, the Statue of Liberty does not represent freedom in America. It represents the French Grand Orient Temple Masons Masonic order idea of collectively putting the human race under orders. It's a Statue of Liberty. You don't go out and get your dad's car and drive off if you're going on a date. You ask permission. And if he gives you permission, that's a liberty. You don't take liberties that you were not given. And so that's why we in America are so famous for having freedom and liberty and justice, because we stood up for freedom, not liberty. We stood up for freedom. And that's what I am appreciating so much tonight, to be able to speak freely to all my friends. It's a very important thing to be able to be among friends and feel free to speak and represent what you think is important. And I think the Spirit of God is important. And I think the spirit of freedom is very important. And one day the people of this country are going to wake up, and I do believe that they will rise up to defend and bring back our freedom. And it's great friends like Bob Brown who are helping me to stay alive and do what I do. And I want to thank you again, Bob.
Jordan, we love you.